Welcome back. Egypt is the land of civilizations. Egypt is the land or the melting pot where with all civilizations they met and melted to shape our identity, the Egyptian identity. And also Egypt is the land of all heavenly messages. All three religions met here in Egypt. And Egyptians learned to know more about our religions and to accept the other via this knowledge. Let's know more about our religious tourism. How our religious tourism is really significant, and simply it can attract millions of visitors all over the world. To shed more light on this and to answer all these questions, we are very much delighted to have with us Dr. Atef, our specialist in tourism and also our cultural heritage. Thank you very much for being with us, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Before going into details, let's define religious tourism.
Religious tourism is traveling with faith. I mean, motivated with faith. So people who travel motivated with faith, this is how religious tourism is defined.
Yeah.
And in Egypt, we have lots of people who come to Egypt motivated with faith, especially church groups that come from all over the world to visit Egypt and to visit the archaeological sites.
Yeah. And we do have magnificent mosques and churches, cathedrals scattered all over Egypt too, and they dated back to centuries before. How do you see those places as sources of attraction, not only for the Egyptians or Egypt or even the Arab nations, but from the whole world?
Well, we have lots of attractions in Egypt. I mean, we have churches, as you mentioned. We have 12 synagogues. We have more than 2,000 churches, 12 synagogues, and we have 100,000 mosques. So the most famous would be Al Hussein Mosque or Sayyida Zainab Mosque. People come from Sultan Hassan ibn Tulun, yes, Ibn Tulun and Amr ibn al-As Mosque. So people come from all over the world to visit those mosques.
Yeah.
When it comes to churches, they come to visit Old Cairo, to visit the St. Sergius Church, the Hanging Church, and the Roman churches that we have here.
The complex of religion, Mujamma al-Adyan.
Yes.
I think this is the only place where the three heavenly messages
that's right.
met.
Yeah.
But sir, also let's focus a little bit on the holy trip, the trip of the Holy Family, and how this also can be another source of attraction.
The Holy Family came to Egypt. Egypt is the second country after Palestine where Jesus drank its water and ate its food. It's 25 stops that they made here, more than 1,500 kilometers back and forth of this trip that people come to visit, and they come and they are motivated with spiritual attractions to visit. In every stop of those 25 stops, there are a church or a shrine or a chapel or a tree. There is something. So people come to visit this, and this is supported by the Vatican as well. I mean, the trip of the Holy Family in Egypt.
To follow their steps even.
Yeah.
These are blessings.
Yes.
Sir, also, when it comes to St. Catherine, when it comes to the great mega national project of the Great Transfiguration or At-Tajalli Al-A'zam, this is going also to be another gift from Egypt to the whole world. How do you see these steps taken by the state to be part and parcel of our strategy to attract millions of visitors all over the world, particularly for religious tourism?
Of course, St. Catherine Monastery is well known all over the world. And people who come to Egypt always ask about the St. Catherine Monastery. They like to visit the monastery, and the government did a good job restoring the area of St. Catherine and maintaining it. And it became kind of a high-end spot for travelers from all over the world. So this will be a plus and an asset that will be added to the Egyptian attractions and Christian attractions.
Sir, also, not so many people know that we do have in St. Catherine Monastery the second biggest library after the Vatican. how we can propagate for that? Is it the role of us, of media or social media or the travel agencies? Who is responsible for propagating for such places and sites?
All of them. I mean, it's all our responsibility. I mean, the media, the social media, and the tour operators and the travel agencies, especially the private sector, can work on doing a propaganda for the second largest library in the world. That's in St. Catherine.
How do you see also other means of propaganda or marketing? For example, to have features, to have short films, to shoot films there, and even to have interviews with the priests or the religious men there, to make sure that we are going to follow all these steps or to take all procedures to attract the visitors?
Well, the government and the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities now and the Egyptian government allowed shooting films in Egypt. This was not allowed before.
Yeah.
So this will increase tourism. I mean, people to shoot films about Egypt in the past, they used to go to Tunisia or to Morocco to shoot the films. Now it's allowed in Egypt. So this will be an asset and will be an add-on to the tourism in Egypt.
But this does not mean that the life is rosy. Of course, there are changes and challenges. In your opinion, sir, what are the most important obstacles or challenges facing our religious tourism?
Raising awareness, especially that the most of the sites of the 25 stops that I was telling you about are rural areas.
Yeah.
So we need to raise awareness of the local community. We need to work more on raising awareness of the local community and also raising awareness of the travelers who come to Egypt, and tell them more about the sites, because unfortunately Egypt is known for the ancient Egyptian history and the ancient Egyptian archaeological sites, but not many people know that Egypt is also a religious hub.
Of course, and the Museum of Islamic Art, for example, is one of the most important sites or museums which our visitors should visit, if you agree with me on that.
I do agree. The Islamic Museum is considered to be one of the largest Islamic museums in the world, and has a collection of textiles, has a collection of ceramics, collection of statues. So it's one of the most important, and people come especially to visit the Islamic Museum.
Dr. Amr, also, I think it's another source of attraction for the students of architecture.
Yes.
When they visit the monuments which dates back from the Fatimid or Ayyubid or eras, this is going to be another motive for them to visit these places. I mean, they are going to differentiate between this mosque, which is Ahmed ibn Tulun, for example, so it comes from the Tulunic era, Sultan Hassan from the Fatimid, etc. If you please elaborate on that.
They come, I mean, the architecture students, they come and visit, especially Sultan Hassan Mosque, because it's magnificent. It's amazing. And people come from all over the world and ask about Sultan Hassan Mosque, to visit the Sultan Hassan Mosque. So they visit different mosques and do their studies. Ibn Tulun there in the mosques that you just mentioned.
Yeah. Sir, also, how do you see the efforts exerted by the state to renovate the mosques of Al al-Bayt or the family of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, like Sayyida Zainab and Al-Hussein?
The government, the Egyptian government, did a good job, especially the Ministry of Antiquities and Tourism. They did a good job in restoring the mosques of the Holy Family of the Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, and especially the Sultan Hassan, especially Al-Hussein Mosque and Sayyida Zainab and Sayyida Nafisa, all those mosques, and they became air-conditioned now and became more organized. I mean, the visit to it became more organized than before.
Yeah.
So this will attract more people to come and visit those mosques in Egypt, and this will encourage tourism for sure.
From Arab and Islamic nations only, or from all over the world, sir?
From all over the world, and from the Islamic nations in particular. I mean, people come to visit the Hussein Mosque and the Sultan Hassan Mosque and Ibn Tulun, so they come to visit those mosques from all over the world.
Sir, how do you see promoting our religious tourism as another way of spreading tolerance and accepting the other and making sure that we can all live in peace, whatever is your religion, whatever is your language, whatever is your race, simply we can live together, and this spiritual atmosphere can add to this.
Egypt is a good example for tolerance, and we have the three religions in Egypt: Islamic religion and Christianity and Judaism. And we have mosques, synagogues, and churches. So when people come to Egypt, they come with a background, and it's our role here to change this background that they come with. They come, I mean, we need to tell them more and raise their awareness about the tolerance that we have and about the three religions who can live in peace. And as you kindly mentioned, in Old Cairo, I mean, the area of Old Cairo is a big example for the three religions together. The synagogue, the Ben Ezra synagogue, the hanging church where the Holy Family stayed, and the hanging church.
Yeah. How do you see the aspect, or to take into consideration for the new generation in specific, that, I mean, here the Egyptians, they should visit all these sites you mentioned, and this is going to boost their sense of belonging, their patriotism, and they are going to be proud of being Egyptians by visiting such places, if you agree also with me on that.
I do agree with you. I mean, this is part of raising awareness of the local community, and we should work on that. This should start from the schools.
This was my coming question. I mean, the new generation starting from the schools.
Students,
yeah.
Starting from the school students to come and visit the different sites. I mean, the churches, synagogues, mosques, and this will help them to be proud of their country, and will help them to be raising their awareness and protecting the sites.
Sir, also, as we were celebrating the date of birth of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, there are similar celebrations all over Egypt. And to have Al-Mulid Abu Hajjaj in Luxor, for example, and you are going to find Mulid El-Sayyida Zainab or Lady Zainab in also at a certain time in our lunar calendar. How do you see celebrating such occasions in our religious sites also to attract visitors?
Speaking of Abu Hajjaj
Mulid
as an example,
yeah.
You'll be interested to know that Abu Hajjaj came from the ancient Egyptian celebration.
Yeah.
Abu Hajjaj celebration came from the procession in ancient Egypt, moving with the boat in Luxor, in the streets of Luxor, and they inherited that until they do the Mulid of Abu Hajjaj nowadays. Speaking of Sayyida Zainab, Mulid, and so on and so forth, this is a good chance for people to interact and reflects a good image about Egypt abroad, that we are celebrating our symbols and their birthday.
And this was exactly the same as we celebrated Layla al-Kibira, or the greatest night, by the end of St. Mary's fasting, sir.
Yes, this is exactly what happened. I mean, when we celebrated St. Mary's fasting, and this what happens when we celebrate Abu Hajjaj, Mulid Abu Hajjaj in Luxor. And Abu Hajjaj, by the way, came from the ancient Egyptian celebration. I mean, they used to go with boats around the streets of Luxor, and up till now they still go with boats in the Mulid of Abu Hajjaj in Luxor.
Yeah.
So we inherited that from our ancestors.
And we are going to continue celebrating this forever, I think, because this is part and parcel of our heritage. True?
Absolutely, true.
Dr. Amr Atef, thank you very much for your input, sir. And
Thank you.
inshallah, we are going to have you again and again in more episodes of Nile Crew.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Right after the short break, we are going to be back with more, so stay tuned.